Hi there, viewers and gamers alike out there, and welcome back for more of Arkham Twin Days of Spider-Man Web of Shadows, as we are going to continue our Arkham Twin Days storyline in progress of this story and info of this game right here of a 2008 non-movie licensed game. So, where do we start off? Oh yes, the outbreak. So now that is a full-out scale war of the outbreak, Spider-Man has no choice. With the help of allies and friends, and hoping to stop this symbiotic outbreak that's taking over the entire island of Manhattan. And it's starting to feel like a war zone completely. Oh yeah. Not a good way to start off in your friendly neighborhood day right here. It is just getting worse from here on out. So, now that it's a war zone, no citizen of Manhattan is going to get off the entire island. And once again, like I told you from the previous episode, all of Manhattan Island is now under quarantine because of the symbiotic outbreak. They have to cut off the bridges, taking down piece by piece in order to stop the symbiotic spreading outbreak from spreading even more. So that way they'll focus more on concentrating on this place only on the part of New York. Of course, you don't want things to go badly wrong. I mean, come on. Things need to stay under control, don't we? So now that the symbiotic outbreak is now at full war, S.H.I.E.L.D. is now working under 24/7 to stop it completely. And with the and with Spider-Man on the job, he is now being kind of someone in charge or the second in command of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s unit forces, able to handle piece by piece to rescue civilians, and hopefully, not to mention, saving people and saving others of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. Working together to stop the outbreak, saving civilians and saving lives is what Spidey does best with the help of allies. And yes, Black Widow's on this, and the Vulture and the Rhino. Wasn't easy to how to stop them. But things are gonna get from bad to worse. So, as things were going to get further along, Black Widow's telling Spider-Man that he needs to go to Wilson Fisk and that he needs for assistance and more of the help. So yeah, I guess he has to go for the fat man himself who likes to sing, even though he doesn't eat jelly glazed donuts. So Mr. McFatty Pants doesn't like his order taken for 30 or 40 burgers. Guess he's so fat that he's not as cuddly and niceable as Frosty the Snowman. Even though he's wearing a white coat, who's called the Kingpin, but is not a giant bowling ball anyways. Sorry, I kind of have this urge of making fun of Kingpin anyways. It's iconic. It's awesome. And so Wilson Fisk gives Spider-Man a job. That he's finding these electrical symbiotic creatures who shoot and conduct electricity, and he wants him to locate the source, or there will be more of these terrible, hideous things right on his doorstep, or should I say, next door. It says, "All right then, will that be everything? 30 or 40 burgers to go?" He always comes up with another fat joke. He says, I can be nice if you can be nice. Like, yeah, I don't know where this is going. Even though they're not the best of friends, I call it frenemies. So yay, called it. And so there was a showdown between. So he was able to find and locate the source of this electric symbiotic outbreak. Now that he is able to find it, he has to defeat Symbiote Electro. Of course, Symbiote Electro's voice sounds terrifying, and it's just, I don't know how this works for me. It's just, no. I'm just too scared. Oh my. Oh, I almost had it. So, oh boy. Even though there's two choices you have to do. Either you can save Electro while getting that, when he tries to fight that symbiotic outbreak, or taking the dark path, even though he's not gonna like it, by, I don't know, something about saving his sister would do like a bargain deal. I have no idea. I mean, who knows, but I would choose the Penzi side. So, who knows? Almost had it, but I give up. Now there's one, so if you chose the light side, even though Electro's kind of joined your alliance a little bit, but however, if you wear the black suit, I mean, the black suit doesn't make you completely evil. It's the choices you make, okay? And like I said before, back from the previous episodes when I played this game, it's kind of like a Grand Theft Auto scheme thing. And no, I do not play Grand Theft Auto, thank you very much, because it's not my style. Never was, never had, never will. Enough about that, let's talk more about this story. So, now that Electro is saved, because since he hates symbiotes that crawled up underneath his skin, and because now that he also had to put Fisk Tower back online to put that electrical security measure systems back online. And of course, why did Wilson Fisk say that this is his family? It's like, no, this is not my family. I have no relation with this black symbiotic outbreak. They were never his family. Since when did Spider-Man become the symbiote's family anyways? Of course, he has the black suit that's a part of him, but just because it's a part of him doesn't mean it's entirely his fault. I mean, come on, really? Can't a guy give something well enough alone to deserve credit and don't take the blame for the entire thing? And not to mention, others have to take part of it as well, even though they don't realize it, and they find out sooner or later, like they say, oh, this is my fault. Yes, it's my fault. So what are you going to do about it? Well, I'll help you and fix it, that's why. Okay, now that we got, now that this is taken out, and now we gotta go a free trip to Vulture Land about these symbiotic vulture creatures. And somehow there are more symbiotic creatures on the outbreak. They have to rescue civilians, of course, and then they're going to go after the shield generator that's protecting Stark Tower, and it was not going to go easily. It's not going to go down that easily, but however, Shield and Spider-Man and everyone else had to do their job to protect Stark Tower. The only way that's strong enough to knock out these symbiotic creatures is to call in a missile strike first, which that worked. And now they have to rescue more civilians, and this time it's in a church. So yeah, Spider-Man has to go to a church in order to rescue them with the help of Wolverine. Since Wolverine knows how to stop these symbiotic creatures with sound waves, we can start with the bell. And it absolutely worked. Ringing the bell once, twice, or many times does not feel the symbiotic creature's pleasures. Alright. They got everybody out of the church because they knew everybody was getting out. Of course, before that happened, Spider-Man had to go check on Mary Jane for just a quick checkup. And yeah, even though that Mary Jane can take care of herself, and she kind of looks like a WWE wrestler, which is pretty funny, which is weird, and I don't know how, but I like it. Carrying a shotgun, and it's just okay. I'll take it. Best girlfriend ever, who's like a WWE wrestler for women. Yay! And not savvy style fashion model. Awesome. Okay, now that people are out of the church, however, Wolverine was caught in the crosshairs of the symbiotic outbreak. He becomes Symbiote Wolverine. And yeah, Wolverine was kind of more trigger happy because he was kind of in love of hacking and slashing with claws, starting with Spider-Man, because he brings out the dark personality of Wolverine completely, which is like, I don't know, somewhat like, not quite, somewhat close to that of Deadpool, but not like Deadpool, I suppose, but in a fun and crazy psychotic way of the dark symbiote of the black suit. If you choose the dark path, of course, I'm guessing Wolverine will remain as the dark symbiotic Wolverine, or say something else. We say wrong answer. But if you chose the light path, Wolverine will no longer have that black suit symbiote, and he is safe because you're telling him to remind him of who you are. And it's nice to remind of who you really are, completely. And not to mention, that same for goes others as well. And now that Wolverine is safe, all citizens are going to get out of Manhattan for free completely, including the Rolling Sevens and the Park Avenues. Now that they're completely out, now they're going to get out of Manhattan, almost every citizen is being rescued, except there's one citizen left, and that is none other than MJ Watson. Of course, Luke Cage is having trouble finding MJ. And then this is when Spider-Man loses it that MJ was nowhere to be found. And Spider-Man says, "I never should have let her go." And then Wilson Fisk, although he says he tried to save others but couldn't save the ones he loved. That was a stupid way to have a bad move by Wilson Fisk. He should never say that. What is Wilson Fisk trying to do? Trying to bringing out Spider-Man's darker half? Because Wilson Fisk is going to be happy that he's going to be turned into a psychopath? Is Wilson Fisk so stupid of himself? Wow, he is an imbecile! And that brings up to date. He found Spider-Man found her and lost her again. And this time, even though he has to break another promise, he's going to have to use that black suit one more time. So yeah, I'm afraid it's going to have to work again. Oh boy. And now he has to save Black Cat, who is under the symbiotic influence of this. Of course, Black Cat's symbiote. Was an easy fight, but however, the battle was not easy for Spider-Man, so he had to fight symbiote with symbiote, even though he had to use the black suit in order to stop symbiote Black Cat. And which was enough. Of course, there are two choices. Either choose the light side, where you can save Black Cat's life, even though she's been taken into medics, but you'll never see her again, but she'll be fine. So, yeah. Or if you take the dark path, the part of the symbiote that you carry of the black suit will kind of go, how do I say, will kind of mesh with her for the new style skin suit of the black suit. However, the game will end quickly because you chose the dark path by saving Felicia Hardy as using part of the black suit, and instead of taking to the, not quite as humanly possible. So, if you choosing the light path will continue the story. And this time you have to stop Symbiotic Vulture. So stopping Symbiote Vulture was not going to be easy. You have to take to the skies. But thanks with the help of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Symbiote Vulture was taken down easily. However, once again, you have two choices. Using the tuning fork on that the Rask building, or I don't know. And this battle will be almost over, or to smash the device and embrace the power of the Dark One gives you, which would end this game completely, and you would have all your characters become symbiotic allies instead. Choosing the light path will guarantee you to continue one last fight against the symbiotic creatures, and not to mention Venom. So, Big Venom with several heads. And Eddie Brock was in the symbiotic creature. Of course, it was not just Eddie Brock. It was just Venom, but not Eddie Brock as Venom. Of course, if you defeat all of them, however, there are two choices. You either save Eddie Brock even though he is Venom, or if you choose the dark path, you would dispose Eddie Brock forever and become the new symbiotic creature of the black suit once again, and take control of all of New York that's in favor of your disposal with the S.H.I.E.L.D. carrier, which was hiding in plain sight the whole time. And so for that, with the choosing that Spider-Man, even though I'm going to choose on the good side, chooses to save Eddie Brock and destroying this entire carrier by self-destructing. However, Spider-Man was going to do it, but instead it was Eddie Brock. He chose to end this for himself. He says, "My flesh, my mind, my mess." And it was not Spider-Man's fault. It was his own fault that he caused the start of this. The anger, the anguish, the pain, the torment, the upsetting, all that he had been through. And now he is going to fix it. And he says, "Time to die like a real man." And this other Venom creature just could not believe his eyes. And with the final last of the strength that Eddie Brock is Venom, destroys the carrier on one of the engines, and the entire engine blew up. The shield carrier is now in flames, goes down to the water, and the symbiotic outbreak is gone forever. No more symbiotic outbreaks. And Spider-Man finally concludes his gumshoe story thanks to his perfectly quick tactics and their friendly neighborhood hero, and not to mention forgetting Eddie Brock's one last heroic detail. He destroyed the outbreak, and he will not be forgotten. And I do believe that is the end of your story of the Arkham Twin Days info and story of Web of Shadows of Spider-Man, of this 2008 non-movie licensed game, whether it's loved or hated by viewers. Tell me, do you like it or hate it? Mash that like button or share this video if you guys love Arkham Twin Days or this game of Spider-Man Web of Shadows that goes back to the comic book roots, such as myself. This is Leo Wolverine saying and speaking as always as your sensational special being, and not to mention your friendly neighborhood Spider Cop, who takes chances, making mistakes and getting messy, like peanut butter and chocolate or breakfast for dinner. The job gets it done for a full of fresh air. And that is what I'm made of. Godspeed, play safe, and shalom. Remember, always fight with honor, love, truth, and justice. See you guys next time for more of the Spidey lore, and hopefully bringing you more of it soon. More of this art of these videos of Arkham Spider-Man for Arkham